Travis is struggling with bizarre medical ailments and an addiction to pain pills when he suddenly flashes back to a haunting memory of his father from 17 years ago.
Terror welled up inside of me. I knew that there was something here that was beyond frightening, that may have been traumatic. And as it flooded back to me, my next instinct was to get up and go for a walk. And I started racing through the neighborhood for about an hour. And I continued to play this loop of what am I gonna do? What does this mean to my family? But the first person I went to, obviously, was my wife. I came into the house, and I walked in, and I told my wife, I said, sit down. I said, I need to tell you something. And I looked at her, and I paused for just a minute. I got the courage to look at her. I said, Lisa, my father was a serial killer, and I knew all about it. We were sitting in a bar together back in 1987. My father offered me some money, and I asked him where he got it. And he said, do you really want to know? And I said, yes. I think he was almost baiting me. But as we were sitting in this bar, he described to me how he murdered two guys. He told me how he lured them to Orlando for a fake drug deal. He didn't tell me where they were from or what their names were. He did describe the area where he killed them in great detail. He talked to me about how he shot one, how the other one ran, and how he waited for him to come back, and how he killed the second guy when he came back.
Piece of cake. Why not? It's there for the taking.
He did it with great detail, and at the time it was something that he seemed to be describing with pride. The feeling of being across from my father and having him describe to me killing two other people in a way that seemed to bring out pride in him was not something that I was ready to deal with at the time. But apparently now was the time, because here it was. Here was this memory again, complete and full in every detail.
He felt in some way that he was somehow to blame for all of that. And I think that's why he repressed those memories.
What happens is that there's some traumatic event, something that happens that's very disturbing, that creates a lot of intense anxiety. And we start to actively push further and further into the unconscious, these thoughts, memories, and perceptions. At some point, there is a cutoff where that memory now is no longer a part of conscious, everyday living.
And I think my response was, oh my God, what is this? It's the only way that I can describe it, is remembering something that I'd not shared with anybody in my entire life, not another human being on this planet.
And my first reaction was fear. Then panic hit me. Oh my God, what are you gonna do about it?
I knew immediately that I needed to go to police with it. So I knew that I was gonna do that regardless of the fear that was attached to it. And yes, there was a lot of fear attached to that. The fear was, what would that mean to me, to my family? Remember the moment of calling the detective on the telephone and just simply saying, I'm Travis Vining, John Vining's son.
I was willing to listen to him. I wasn't expecting to get a lot from the interview that would be something that would help me. It was a 17-year-old double homicide case that had been unsolved. But when he started giving details, then I thought, well, there is something to this. That doesn't happen very often, especially with a case that's 17 years old.
But for Duana, it isn't enough to charge Travis's father, who is already in prison.
The police said, how do we know you weren't involved? How would they know? So their proof that they wanted was to take him up and actually have his dad confess to him.
Police asked Travis to visit his father in prison while wearing a wire.
They were gonna put a wire on him. What were the odds are you're gonna get your dad to actually admit to that? He hadn't talked about it in 17 years.
I killed him, that's all. I seen a drug deal going down and I shot him in the head.
I was actually shocked when he actually did get the confession from him. That totally eliminated any doubt of Travis's involvement.